Hello again. Now we're going to look at Edith, and this is Edith. Again, she's 5 3/4 by 8 1/4 ish. Fabric over cardstock. This is a pillowcase, I think from the 1950s or 40s, and a little bit of French vintage fabric. This is not vintage. I think that's from a handkerchief, if I remember rightly. So I've just patchworked those together and covered some cardstock. She sits like so. No dangly bits really. So this is paper from chapter 1, and there's some note paper in the front there. So Mrs. Cog image, that's just a journal card and a photograph. This is a little tag that I've just put together. Lovely image. I don't think that's Mrs. Cog. It's somebody else who I can't just remember who at the moment. And she's over an old vintage French document. Not sure how old that is. This is my porch prints, and in this pocket some Italian book page, vintage book page, and another card that I've backed this time onto old ledger paper. This is a little photograph, and again another document from the 1960s. It's not particularly old, vintage, not antique. And in the pocket on this side, I've got a Flower Fairy postcard, an old receipt, and a little brown envelope. Again, this journal is designed for you to take everything out and use it for your own pleasure, I suppose, really. This is an old Peterson's magazine. This is a postcard from 1959. And that's from the 1950s as well. This is some of the fabric that I used on the front, ruffled up. In here, it's just a little tuck spot made out of some waxed paper, and that's a Flower Fairy and a Beatrix Potter image. And then on this side, there is a receipt or some kind of French document from 1952. This is from a book. This is French embroidery pattern in this pocket. Again, just some bits and pieces. Not sure how old that is, but it's pre 71 because it's not decimal. Some note paper and an old receipt. This is from 1932, and I have made a tag on there. It's just backed onto card. This is some wrapping paper. And in the pocket on the other side, this is an image from Good Housekeeping magazine. Time you had a New World gas cooker. Library card. This I've just wrapped around the page. This is just a journal card. In this pocket, I've got a little dangle. This is some original embroidery. I think this is quite special. This is cut from something my mother did, unfinished. We found it when we were clearing our house out. Obviously I've kept some of it, but some of it can go to a new home. This is from 1924. French So what I've done to try and stop this fraying, obviously the zigzag across here, I have just put a line of glue around the edges here so that these edges shouldn't fray. That I've put together, and that, 2 little cards. Okay, so this is called, I think it's called Hardanger embroidery. She's very good. Mrs. Cog pages in the middle there. Again, there's some more vintage book pages, blank for your own use. And this is a floating pocket. So there's some bits in there. And a fussy cut, and there's a pocket on the other side. There's a couple of images on that one as well. In here, in this pocket, French document. Not sure how old that is, but relatively. And a postcard, 1902 maybe, or 1908. It's a French book. In here, there's some old book pages. And an image. And this is a 1963 French envelope, addressed to somewhere in Paris. This is a postcard. I've just added a little ruffle onto that one. It's the other side of that paper. This lady I've cut out from an old magazine. A bit more pinned on here, some vintage atlas, digitals, and a little photograph from the 1950s. And then in this pocket, this is from an old book. Of articles in there for you to read if you so wish, or just use for collage, whatever. And then this is a little button, it's just a journal card and a tag, and I put some pearl buttons on there. Get it back in, there we go. Here we've got another pocket with another image from Mrs. Cog. This is from 1920s book, and an old cigarette card. And then in here we've got a magazine page, document from 1932, and an envelope. An envelope that I've made. An original little cabinet card. And the back. So that's Edith. Slightly less in her than I put in some of my more eclectic ones, I guess, though it's still eclectic. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.